Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at Sunday Jam Comics from Bantam House Books. It's a mini comic that I was part of, and it's an anthology, and I was a part of it, and we're going to be going through and looking at all of the different artists and everything. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a full-size, full-color comic book that I produce every month. And starting this month or next month, I'm going to be adding pages. And then the month after that, I'll be adding even more pages. So hopefully we'll get to pages of 20. And so any artists out there that want to contribute to Random Access, please let me know. That would be fantastic. Like I said, it's a full-size, full-color comic book that you can get at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin. Just $3 a month, and you get a comic book and a sticker. But you can also get these at alexanderturbin.com, which is my website, which is probably the best way to get it because you can pick and choose which ones you want instead of missing some of the issues. Or you can just message me at alexturbin0441 at Yahoo or alexturbin0441 at Instagram. Yep, so we've got a lot of cool stuff coming through the pipe, and thanks for all the support, and I always really, truly appreciate it. So let's get into Sunday Jam. So about a couple of years ago, I was invited into this little anthology thing. It's kind of like what we did with Nightblade, where each person had a page, and you could, or you were supposed to kind of riff off of the previous couple pages, and but you weren't. You were only given the last two pages, and I think that kind of suffered. I think made it suffer. I think it probably would have been better if each individual artist was giving the complete story of the previous artists and stuff. Because in this, there's it's like I said, it's exactly the same thing where each artist gets a thing. But let's talk about who created it. It's Bantam House, and it's Jason DeGroot is the editor of all of this stuff. I think he's the editor, and it looks super polished and professional, and it's really a fantastic printing job and publishing job by Bantam House. Like I said, looks super professional. This is the third volume, and it's $6. And I'm going to do my best to put links in the description of where you can get it and where you could try to get your art into it and stuff like that. It's I believe it was on some Facebook Messenger or something was the chat room that I was part of, and it eventually, I was being part of this, and I was being part of the Toilet Crew and all of their stuff that they were doing, or some of their stuff that they were doing. But I was doing the Nightblade, and I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. And being part of two groups is just impossible. These guys are fantastic dudes. I had a great time there. And they're super nice, super creative, super talented. I love all of them. But you just have to kind of choose the path that you're going on. If you spread yourself out too thinly, then it's no good for anybody, because then your art kind of suffers, and your whole life kind of suffers if you just try to do too much. That is what happened to me with Funk and some of the other projects that I've been working with. So Jason DeGroot got everybody together. This is the third installment. So this is 22 pages, 24 pages. And so there's 60, 80 pages. No, 20, 40. So there's 40 or 50 pages, probably 50 pages of this story beforehand, which is why I really thought the Nightblade, like if there's ever Nightblade 2, I really hope that everybody has the first issue and then everybody's previous pages, because it just kind of makes it easier for the artist to not only riff off the previous page, but also riff off the entire universe of what's going on. So let's start, and I'll say everybody's name and where they're from and all that stuff, Instagram, and so this is Amisha Goal from Instagram.com, Amisha Goal Art. backslash. I'm going to try my best to do that, kind of say that kind of stuff. But I'm an old man, so please pardon me if I kind of mess up or whatever. I love all of these artists. Some more simple artists, some more complex. This is kind of an unusual thing where he chose to do this not portfolio but landscape. He chose to do this landscape style. I do wish there was some backgrounds, but it adds so this is Digby, and he's the main character throughout the whole thing. And I don't know if he was in the first three or first two volumes or not. But you can look at the I think there's a website or something where you can see all of it. So I'll try to put links into that so you can check it out. So this is Digby, and it says, "Who is that?" And it's some kind of red angel. It's the Red Raven. Old Digby is back. So I don't know where he was from. So if you're interested, check out the first two volumes. I am sending you on a mission. What? Where? So we've got our main protagonist in Digby, and he's got a dog that kind of comes out of nowhere or comes out of the past or something that I don't know about. I'm not going to read the whole book because that would just be too long and too long a video, and nobody really wants to see that. And plus, I don't want to really ruin things for people that do actually go buy it and want to enjoy it. But we're going to say Clint Basinger from Instagram.com and Cosmic Moustache Comics, and he just kind of continues on the story. And he's a little bit more anime-ish, and it's a little bit more packed in all of the characters and stuff. One of the things I don't like about mini comics is that, well, I kind of do like it and kind of don't like it. On the creative side, you don't need as many backgrounds because there's just not enough space there to put your backgrounds and to kind of show everything. But at the same time, there's not enough space to put your background. So if you want some kind of really great background imagery, like some kind of awesome establishing shot or something like that, then a mini comic really doesn't have the space to do that. But it also forces you to kind of use your creativity, and instead of using these noodly little detail stuff, you kind of have to rely on the big blocky way of creating things, whether or not it's a big character, big face, big lines. You just have to use a little bit more creativity or different creativity than if it's a regular size comic book or magazine size comic book. So he's turned into this creature, this Red Raven, and he's on a quest. And so the manga guys have kind of taken over, and they've made this creation. And this is really kind of cool. This is a very cool character. And I don't know if that Digby, he changes from that, but I don't know if that's is he going to be in another comic book or something? That would be kind of cool. And I love his scarf. I put a scarf on him, but it's not in color because you'll see my page later on. But I really love the red scarf. It's kind of like there's a Strike Back by I can't remember who it is. He was in our artist poll. He's the one that penciled Justice League. Anyway, old man brain, and I'll think of it probably halfway through this video. And anyway, in Strike Back, he has a scarf like that, and it can turn into, a sword or whatever you needed, pole for a pole vault or a lance or anything. So that's kind of a cool thing like that. But then here we go to I didn't say, this is John Mahler, Solo Dot 2, mostly retro. So I'm not entirely sure what some of these things are, whether they're websites or not. You young folks might know a little bit more better. RB Tower from zvcomics.com. And this, I really love the colors in this. It's got a lot of variation in colors. And also, the storyline is kind of taking a quirky little thing where he's fighting this wish master or this demon, and it's a wish game or wish fight or something. But he's buried in red tape or bureaucracy, which is kind of cool. One of the things that I kind of don't like about this whole riffing thing is the artists that for some reason they choose to go in a different path than than the previous pages. Like this guy here, he just kind of I don't know if it's really true, because he says that he doesn't have any ideas for how the story should progress or how there should be a cliffhanger or whatever. So he has Digby actually come off of the page and talk to him as an artist and try to get him to do different things with the page, but he doesn't. And so it's just kind of it's a nice page with this 9-panel grid, and it's enjoyable, it's entertaining, but it doesn't really further the story. So it's kind of I really kind of wish that it just had done that. It's by Joe Bogdan, smallpressheroes.com. And then, like I said, it kind of it does give it a restart, and it lets the next artist kind of do whatever they want. And in Nightblade, I really was set upon by a quandary because of Mike Ford, because Mike Ford turned Nightblade into a maid, a woman, and in a maid's outfit. So I was like, should I just keep Nightblade in her maid's outfit and do a sexy girl, or should I kind of steer the story back to the original Nightblade storyline and have him kind of take off his dress or whatever and become Nightblade again, which is what I did. And Mike was like not happy, but he understood, and I think that's kind of what I just had to do. It would have been cool to do a female Nightblade, and maybe that's the way I should have gone, but it's you're thinking back of what happened, and you just can't change your mind now. So this is when Brian Wayne Powell, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, from jimmyvaliant.weebly.com, and he just has a bunch of his own characters, and they're just kind of talking about the main character. What's his name again? Digby. And they're just talking about him. It's kind of like a man on the street interview kind of thing. But then they end up talking about how he died. And so Digby goes to hell. And this is by Trish Catalano from creativelycopingbytrish.wordpress.com. And I'm not entirely sure if these are websites or these are other websites where they're obviously websites, but I don't know if they're personal websites or websites where comics can be digital comics can be shown off and stuff. So let me know, you guys, if you check some of this stuff out. So we have the two characters, Digby and the devil or demon or something, and then it says, meanwhile, back at the ranch. So it resets it again, and I wish people wouldn't do that. I wish they would just continue on the storyline, but also I do understand it. So it's Digby, and he's talking to the demon, and they're just kind of going back and forth. And this is by Steve Shipley. He obviously doesn't have a website or an Instagram page or anything like that. And then they go to the next story, and this is really what starts. They're talking about the meaning of life and death, and what does everything mean and stuff like this. And this is Mike Sears by smallpressheroes.com, and this is really great. I love all of the artists, and I really just can't touch on every single one's strengths and weaknesses. But I really do. I love this one in particular. It looks a little bit like Mike Mignola's Hellboy, and I really love that. But I love the whole. It's very cartoony, but it's a different kind of cartoony with the big head and the little face, and it's really expressive, and I really love that. And then you go to my page, which the previous pages had the devil, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with Satan and Digby? And I was just like, I've always wanted to use the 667 joke, which is neighbor of the beast. And I just kind of put that in there, and I really enjoyed working on it, because, drawing a devil or demon or something like that is always fun. And Digby, I think I like Digby quite a bit too. And I'm actually really happy with this page overall. It could have used some black spotting, but I remember I was really feeling crunch time, so I didn't use a lot of shading. We didn't use any shading or shadows or anything like that, and it really could have used it. but at the same time, I think it came out pretty good. I think the perspective is pretty good, and I enjoy this the two characters. And then next door, 667, Neighbor of the Beast. This artist, who is Zach Ermer, no website or anything, and he's just continuing on the story of the Neighbor of the Beast. And this page by David Brandstetter from linktree.ee.strawman comics. It's just the demon and Digby having a burger, and I guess it's a hot burger, so he kind of and looking at this lava lamp, and he's kind of belches and stuff. So that's kind of just a funny little one-page story of the demon and Digby. And then this is where it goes to this J.M. Hunter and Aaron Brescia, ko-fi.com/JM Hunter Art. And this is huge of where do we come from, what's the meaning of life. And I will read this one. Life is what you make of it. Don't waste your life on the pursuit of possessions and empty pleasures. Life is about loving and being loved, taking care of people who don't have the same advantages as you do, and accepting help when you need it. Your time on earth is limited. Make it count. The meaning of life is that it ends. So that's a cool page. The illustrations don't really go with a lot of stuff. I think it's just some weird, cool illustrations that he had done. I really love this page. I really love this page. This is like a Sauron kind of thing from Rafer Roberts at plasticform.com. And but once life ends, which, he's continuing it from this whole what is the meaning of life kind of thing going on. But I love the colors. The colors are fantastic, and just the line work and the panel layup. I love that page. That's just fantastic. Especially this weird design of the demon. And the demon, it's almost like he's not an evil demon. It's more like he's an inner turmoil demon, and that's really kind of fun. Matthew Robinson from smallpressheroes.com, and I like this page too. This really reminds me of something from like Something is Killing the Children, or some kind of other black and white indie thing like that. I love the houses and the way they're arranged, where they're all kind of different hexagonal ways, and yet it's got this nice cobblestone walkway and stuff. And this is another resetting of the storyline. And then Alan Freeman, Instagram.com, and I see Alan's work a lot, and I think we've been in a few different anthologies together. So this is really, really intricate and ornate, and this is where the mini comic format really lets me down, because I would love to see that page either as a regular size comic or as a magazine size comic. The colors are just so fantastic, and there's the panels. There's a lot of panels. There's a lot of story, because the demon comes back, or he brings Digby back to Earth, and he's got a dog, and he's just all happy. But then these aliens come and start attacking him, which is where we go to Micah Lensfield at Instagram.com. Micah Ova. And then it's more with the aliens and the dog and stuff. And it actually introduces Digby's mother, and who's an alien goddess, but it's not really Digby's mother. It's more like a mother as in your goddess to worship. So I love this panel too. I love the face of the goddess, his mother, and it's always nice to see some big boobs. And really, it's a really great panel. Great page. It's especially good because I kind of think maybe 3 panels for a mini comic might be the perfect amount of panels for a mini comic. It doesn't, you don't have, like this next page, you don't have all of this story and stuff going on, but you got a good size of characters, and you can pack in some information but not completely overwhelm the reader with this minute detail that they have to kind of squint their eyes and stuff. This is Brian J. Crowley at brianjcrowley.com. And then this goes on to the next one. And then I really wish that artists wouldn't just have nothing to do with the original. I don't know if this is supposed to be Digby's dog, and I kind of don't think so, because it says, meanwhile, great day for a walk. Roof, roof, meow. And so the cat is chasing him. And so this character gets mushed up. I don't know what that is. John Powers, Instagram.com. He just kind of decides to go his own way and not really have any kind of reference for the story because, as all of you know, I'm all about the story in comic books. It's great to have cool illustrations. It's great to have little cartoons, but for me, it's the being a slave to the story and really fleshing out the story as much as you can to keep it interesting, keep somebody interested in continuing to read along and not be confused. Which this whole thing, this whole experiment, or whatever you like to call it, it could easily become confusing. But this really isn't. This is actually a lot less confusing than Nightblade, and I really think that is because the artists were given all of the previous pages. So Nate might want to think about doing that next time if there is a Nightblade too. And this is all I forgot to say. This is John Powers, Instagram.com. I don't know if I said that or not, but this is Tony Lawrence from Instagram.com. And I really love this page. There's some sort of a tick. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where this fits in story-wise, but it has Superflea. There's a Superflea, and then it goes to Michael Fitzgerald Troy from YouTube.com, and I love this monochrome colors here. It's this dark blues and light blues and all of this weird kind of stuff. I really love that. And then we're coming close to the end of the comic book, and they introduced this Wilford Estevez and Jatner Gatora from Instagram.com and Facebook.com, excuse me. And there's this like haunted horse who was killed. I think this horse was maybe previously shown in the previous two editions of this book. I'm not entirely sure. But you have Digby and his dog, and they're talking to the horse, and then the horse tells him his future, kind of, and that's where Michael Wagoner from Facebook.com, sometimes good, sometimes evil, Reverend Mike, and then it has, like I said, the evil horse tells him his future, but then the demon comes back, and I'm not entirely sure what he has to do there. He's just kind of saying hello to Digby and hello to the horse. And this brings us to David Welker, Etsy.com, shop Markles Studios. I don't know. I'm sorry. I like this because it reminds me of Jack Kirby. So I really love his style. And there is a lot of panels packed in there, lots of story going on. And he ends up talking about doing a hell heist, going into hell and doing some sort of hell heist. And that is cool because it leads into the next page from Jatinder Godatora from Facebook.com. And his mother comes back, so you see a lot of these characters coming back and being seen after a lot of pages, which is, you can really do that since you know all of the story. But this is Digby's so-called mother, goddess mother, and they're going to have a little fight or something. But then I don't understand where this comes from. This is just like a page, and it's James Hackshey. Did I say Justin? Yeah, I did say James Hackshey with no Instagram or anything like that. But this is just his own little page that has nothing to do with anything, which, it's kind of sad. But at the same time, it's great art, and the story is pretty cool. They're talking about Stonehenge and Merlin and all that stuff. And so it's a cool story. It just doesn't have anything to do with the other Digby or his dog or the demon or anything like that. And so then they have some outro letters, and they sell some comic books and stuff. And so it's a really nice book, and I really am happy that I was part of it, and I'm thankful for Jason for sending me a copy. And like I said, I'm going to put in the description how to get a copy, and I hope you check it out. And it's cool that Digby has this scarf thing, just like Strike Back, and it's I still can't remember his name. Man, I'm an old man. So anyway, Thanks for watching. And this is the kind of stuff that I do, that I review. If you're new to the channel, I go over 70s, 80s, 90s, indies comics, but really any kind of thing that I think is unusual or different. So if Marvel puts out something unusual and cool that I really like, or that I really hate, then I'll talk about it and let everybody know what I think about it. But I appreciate your watching, and if you like the content, please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and all that cool stuff. And thumbs ups are always nice. And also, um, leave a comment. That's the biggest thing. I love talking about comic books. I love talking to you guys about comic books. I love making comic books. So just leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to get volume 1 and 2, and what you think of all of these different awesome artists, because these are a lot of artists that I think a lot of people haven't seen on my channel. And because this is, like I said, it was on a Facebook thing. It wasn't on an Instagram thing. So a lot of these things haven't been seen on Instagram or anything like that, my usual haunts. So definitely check it out, because there's a lot of really, really cool stuff in this book. So thanks for watching. And it's Monday, so we've got a whole slew of cool stuff to go through, and we've got polls, and we've got all kinds of stuff. So thanks for watching, and always keep on creating.